So that time of day then, Desert Island Dishes. Tomorrow, National Poetry Day. So we've been celebrating poetry this week, speaking to different poets from around the county. Let's head to Corby now. And if you drew a Venn diagram, and in one bit you've got Corby Town, in another bit you've got poetry, in the middle would be Chuck the Poet. Morning, Chuck.
Good morning, Annabel. Yes, hello, good morning.
I can't imagine there'd be that many other people in the middle of that Venn diagram.
Not really, no. It's a very niche market if you're looking at just Corby Town. But poetry, it goes beyond that, doesn't it? It's about imagination on paper.
And you've done this for a while, yeah? You've always been into poetry.
Yeah, very much so. Started in Kettering. Let's go across a tour of Northamptonshire. Started in Kettering, I didn't win. I came third in a talent contest. Thought there was something in it. And I've always written kind of poetry with a punchline to the end. You know, something which has got some sort of point to it, and it is often humorous, but it doesn't have to be. Obviously, lots of people are writing poetry these days, and it's all about, creating. There's nothing wrong or right or wrong about it. Nobody's going to mark it at the end of the day, but get out there, write some poetry.
So if you go on your YouTube channel, Chuck the Poet, it says here, themes include bodily fluids, insects and cheese.
Yes, the last book was called Large Fromage. So that's probably where that comes from. And one of the first ones, when I appeared, can you imagine that? I appeared on The Weakest Link and actually performed a poem called Woodlice. So that's probably where insects come from. But I think
you were on The Weakest Link?
I was on The Weakest Link,
What, with Anne Robinson?
Yes, a long time ago.
What was that like?
Yeah. Quite intimidating and interesting, because it's great to see how these things work behind the scenes. But I'm sure that if any of your eagle-eyed viewers can find that on YouTube, I'd be more than happy.
Oh, wow. So you've written poems about food. Have you got a clean one that you can give us?
I have, because obviously this links in with Desert Island Dishes, doesn't it? Because one of my favourite foods is this, and it's a poem called Pizza. I've a craving for pizza, crisp and round and thin, with tomatoes and mozzarella and fresh basil from Turin. Aromas deliver me to Roma. In Pisa, I'd be set for life, but at home, it's cut into sixes with my own infinity knife or pizza wheel.
That's very good. I like it.
Thanks very much.
Excellent. And you perform stuff still? Yeah, you go around because actually the Northampton Bard mentioned you the other day. You were at like an open mic night, I suppose, is it? That's
right. Yeah, that was in Northampton as well, and in the V&B. It's just opposite the Guildhall, and they have poetry nights every month. And there used to be a really big kind of event in Kettering called Run Your Tongue. Corby's never really picked up on the thing. There's a couple of things around where they have open nights and more kind of playing music. It's more of a rock and roll town, but. There's things happening everywhere. Just check out local social medias and socials for that kind of thing. But yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's always open mic. People can turn up. They can read from a piece of paper, read from their phone. That's a very modern thing that happens nowadays. But if you've got some writing and you need to get it out, it's cathartic. It's nice to do. We're on the zeitgeist. Let's go for it. Read some poetry.
Lovely. Right, well, we're going to get your Desert Island Dishes now, so we'll see if pizza features. This is starter and main or main and pudding?
Starter and main, please.
OK, your starter?
Would be Stilton mushrooms on sourdough bread with lots of, it's rich, creamy Stilton sauce and fried mushrooms.
So when you say Stilton mushrooms, so I often think like a stuffed mushroom, but it's not that, no. You put the Stilton in the frying pan with the mushrooms, do you?
That's right, yeah. Fry off your mushrooms in some butter, add a lump of Stilton, maybe a little bit of creme fraiche, and pour on the top of a freshly toasted slice of sourdough bread.
Oh, that sounds heavenly. I've never had that. Lovely. Right, OK. Well, very healthy, obviously. What are you going to have for your main?
Well, it is pizza. Obviously, and this connects back to football mainly because I've been to every county in England, and I've also been to 47 countries across the world. And if it wasn't for pizza, I'd have starved. So in all of those places where you think, it's a bit meat heavy, this, this menu if it wasn't for pizza. There'd be nothing to eat. So, and it's basic pizza. It is just tomato, that's tomato to you, mozzarella and basil, fresh basil on the top, and very thin paste, bit like the poem, but without it, that's just exceptional. And would you believe it? Best pizza I had, Rome.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say Daventry or something then, but no, Rome. So I really enjoy following on Twitter. There's a Twitter account called Footy Scran, where you see the different food that is served up at football grounds around the country, but also around the world. Given that you've been to every county and you've watched a lot of football, best food you've had in a football stadium?
I rarely eat at a football stadium. Mainly because, obviously, when you're reporting on local radio stations, such as the BBC Radio Northampton, you don't have an awful lot of time. So, yes, I will hunt out a nice cup of coffee. I will usually pick up some sort of chocolate-covered biscuit of my choice. But as a vegetarian, there are very little choice of other food. So, I let other people enjoy what's on offer. Okay. Though there have been some very, very nice pies available at certain stadia around the country, and it would be remiss of me not to mention the mighty Tottenham Hotspur, who do a lovely range of vegetarian pies in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Do they now? Well, there we go. Right, you're allowed to drink with this meal, Chuck. What would you have?
There's only one drink, and that would be ale, a nice golden pale ale. And I know we don't do advertising at the BBC, but obviously, if we're in Northampton, we would be drinking a bottle of Phipps's pale ale. Of
course you would. Chosen many times on this feature. Chuck, really nice to speak to you. We shall hear you at the next match for Corby Town, and we'll look you up on the internet. Chuck the Poet, yeah?
Absolutely lovely. Thanks, Annabel.